What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. If you've been around the channel for years, you might remember my old series, the Anime Grab Bag. But if you're new, that's basically just a series of casual videos where I review a bunch of the random shows that I watched recently that I wanted to raise awareness about that you might actually enjoy, but I just either don't have the time to, or I don't feel compelled to make standalone scripted videos for it, because that takes a lot longer. Future Bob cutting in with two quick channel announcements. First of all, I'll be holding a end of the year Q&A session, so ask me your questions in the comments section of this video, and I'll choose the ones that I think are the most interesting, and I'll answer them then. I won't be answering questions related to anime that I've seen or manga that I've read, because I do have a complete and up-to-date My Anime list where you can see all of that, including my scores. The second update is that this video takes me to review number 399 by my current count. Of course, it would be closer to 600 if I counted the ones that I deleted from the early 2010s or the ones that were taken down for copyright. But, you know, still 399 is still a substantial number, and I wanted to thank everyone for their support over the years, so go over to my YouTube channel in the community tab and find the post, and you can vote for what my 400th anime review is gonna be. I wanted to say thank you all for your support over the years, and let's get started with the video. I wanted to start today's video off with Raiyantsuuri no Uta, and this was a movie that eluded me for so long. So I wasn't aware of this, but it's actually based on a true story. I don't know to what extent it's actually based, true to the events, but it's set in post-war Japan following a Chinese prisoner of war. So basically, he was captured, brought to Japan, and he was forced to work in a coal mine as a slave, and he and like 4 other friends escaped, but he is the only survivor of that escape attempt. And there he is living for years in the mountains of Japan by himself, fending for himself, and he just looks ragged. He's got this beard because he doesn't really have any resources. He's constantly fearing for his life and afraid because he doesn't know the war has ended, and even if he did, there's a lot of racism there. I mean, that's another theme of the movie there, but just him in this mountain by himself, reminiscing about his past life and wanting to go back and revisit his wife and his daughter that he misses so much. I felt like in the beginning of this movie, like in the first 20 minutes or whatever, I thought it was going to be super predictable, and there are some elements of this movie that are incredibly convenient, but it really doesn't play out the way that I expected at all. Instead of being like a linear narrative showing everything about, this guy trying to get back home, it is more so it's like we're piecing together backstories, and we're piecing together the cultural context and historical context through memories and through people's actions and whatnot. So the people in this house, they're kind of curious about who that guy is on the mountain, and that guy in the mountain's just having a stress panic attack constantly because he just misses his family so much that he's remembering his past, and they're like investigating who he might be because they gradually like pick up these clues and whatnot. And I thought this was really interesting because it really shined a light on some of the atrocities of Japan during World War II, about slavery. It just, showed Japanese racism towards the Chinese and whatnot, and how people were trying to cover up the war crimes and stuff. Now, this was set in the mid-90s. I watched a lot of Japanese stuff, but I don't really know what the culture was like back then in relation to the Chinese. Maybe this was a fairly safe opinion to have, that, we did bad things in our past, and we're trying to mend things with the Chinese. I don't know. Either way, I really appreciated that this movie went there and did things that I haven't seen done before in an anime movie. As far as its visual goes, the only version that's available is a VHS rip, but it's good quality. There's no warbling and distortion or anything like that. It's really good. It's just a little bit fuzzy, and I like the nature elements of it for what it is and the way that its plot unfolds. I found it surprisingly emotional and touching. Maybe it's because I know it's connected to a true story. I need to find more out about this story, but I think this really interesting, and I'm so glad that it's available now and that other people can watch it if you can find it. It's out there, and I hope you can find it and enjoy it for yourself. So next up, I watched the recent anime movie, Gridman Universe. And if you remember, I've already reviewed SSSS Gridman and SSSS Dynazenon within the same video, but that unfortunately isn't a beginner's guide. So if you've seen those anime, it basically takes all of the characters and stuffs them together in this 1-2 hour movie, and it also takes a lot of the elements that I really enjoyed from the two series. My biggest problem with the movie is a personal issue because it has been so long since I had seen the Gridman and Dynazenon series that coming over to this, I honestly forgot who some of the Gridman characters were. The Dynazenon characters, I remember them because they left a stronger impact because their story was more character driven. So in the beginning, we get this, I would say the Gridman Universe movie felt really slow for me for the first 30 minutes, and then it just shot off, and it was like a roller coaster of seeing weird things happen, and then action, and then it comes back down for a bit, but also it really had these fun moments that almost reminded me of Genshiken, one of my favorite anime. And it's basically the characters come together and they're writing the story for Gridman, and they're doing the art, and they're making cosplay and stuff for a play. And it was just wholesome watching the characters come together for that, especially if you are familiarized with them already. So I feel like the movie has a really high rewatch value for the weird things that are happening in the background, for the character interactions, for the intense action that I couldn't even understand everything that was going on in front of my eyes because there was just so much movement and color. And also, of course, because of the countless references. It is just saturated with references for Super Robot and, like Yusha Anime and Transformers, and I don't really know much about the Gridman Tokusatsu series, but there's got to be tons of references for that. So you can really tell that it's like a passion project for the people working on it. Now, both of the anime that this is based on, Gridman and also Dynazenon, they had closure and everything, but this just adds extra. It's supplementary to that, and there's this epilogue to it where we just get to see the characters after the event, and I really love that too. It really, whenever we get nice epilogues, wholesome epilogues, seeing what the characters are up to and everything, it really reminds me of my experiences with some of my favorite JRPGs where they've got, just seeing what's going on with these characters after the epic events and the battles and whatnot. So I like that. So I really enjoy this and highly recommend. It is a must-watch for anyone who's remotely interested in these shows, but you have to watch the correct order and you can't just jump in here. So next up we have Villgust. It is a 2-episode fantasy OVA based on a video game series by the same name, and I enjoyed this despite the fact that its premise is really just... its synopsis is really like eye-rollingly basic. You don't need to know anything about the games, but its story is you've got your 8 heroes chosen by the goddess, and then you've got your big bad who wants to envelop the world in shadows, and they just fight each other because that's what they're supposed to do. Thankfully, its execution is far more interesting and enjoyable than that. It's not like this truly amazing anime or anything, but I'm glad that I watched it, and it was kind of a relaxing and enjoyable experience. For starters, I really like the art and animation here. Like, the character designs were just so cute, and it's rare that I'm really totally into the cuteness of the characters, but I really was here. I love this. It felt like a mixture of Dragon Quest and that old MMO Dragon's Nest, and one girl reminded me of the lead heroine from Crest and Banner of the Stars, the anime, if you've seen that. And it was just fun watching these characters interact just because I liked looking at them, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's how I felt. The background art was nice, but they did great work with its just the little things in this anime. Like, for example, the multi-layer parallaxing. Numerous scenes that they had that, and they didn't have to. There's countless amount of fantasy OVAs which really do the bare minimum, and I think a lot of people, it gets a bad rep because a lot of people's experience with that, but this really did go above and beyond in that regard. The scenes with the rain, I enjoyed that. There was this first-person scene where he threw a boomerang. I enjoyed that. Not everything is amazing. Sometimes they're riding on this wagon and it's really jittery, and that wasn't good, but overall, I really enjoyed the visuals, the overall presentation here. I think the music was nice too, from what I remember, but As far as its story goes, it's actually a little bit more interesting where, you know, it's got a few comedic moments where plans backfire for the enemies, but also he's actually got a fairly solid plan of deceiving our heroes. And I don't want to say more than that because the story is really basic to begin with, so anything extra on top of that is just gonna give it away. And I just enjoyed it, and if you're into fantasy anime, if you're into RPGs, if you've had a history of playing them, then you might just get a wave of phantom nostalgia from watching this because there are things that are similar to the other things that you enjoyed, and it's only an hour long, so, you know, why not, you know? So if you decide to check out anything from today's video, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about the anime grab bag. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.